Yeah, I suppose we're live now, steady, and the sound is good. So if you are watching and we are live, please let me know if the sound this time is not echoing, it's not lagging, and also I want to try out if this stream is steady for during the next 15 minutes. So welcome to this show. My name is Armando Ello, for those who don't know you, but I'm going live at several streams right now on the channels on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube Adomatic, or you can go to my Facebook page, my personal page, where you can see this live stream about photography and videographers getting better at their crafts and business. So today, yeah, I'm talking on a bit loud. Let me put this a little bit softer so the output is better this way. Give me some feedback. Where are you watching from? From which city? From the Netherlands maybe, or maybe from out of the country? I would like to know, and then I can also test my chat functions over here. Hey, no echo. Perfect, thanks. And the chat is also working. As you might see a little bit, maybe we can try this out with my screen over here. Make this bigger. And I think you can see me full screen right now. Awesome. I think finally it is working out. Well, as you can see on the title, I think the title is, let me check right here if the title is right now. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but the title is still the same, because when I switched to titles, the stream went out, so excuse me for that. Cool. Shall I begin? Let me try this out. I'm going to make myself smaller again. There we go. Let's see, like that. That is better, so we can have a better overview at Lightroom. We max out this one as well. And in the meantime, I'm live also on Periscope on Twitter. Follow my Twitter handle at armando.ello.com. So, the photographers of you out there, of course, you are learning to take pictures and everything, and learn everything about the settings about the camera. Well, there are a lot of online explanations about how to use this one, but I wanted to go a little bit further and talk about post-production. In post-production, we often choose the most popular Adobe products like Lightroom or Photoshop, so we can ask questions about both of them. And first of all, if you, I'm going to explain how Lightroom works basically. So if you have questions about Lightroom now, you can ask the questions in the comments. And if you use such a program, or maybe even Photoshop, but I will begin at the beginning. So first of all, if you use Lightroom, don't try, and this is my advice, because there's also photographers out there or teachers that advise you to use the archive of Lightroom and move the pictures or folders over there, because in this situation, if you look at this Lightroom, you see my pictures over here. For example, this one, number 66, and then you will see a warning sign, and this is because my other external hard drive is not connected where the photos are archived. So what you see here is only a thumbnail, and the thumbnail with a very low resolution. I can develop this one in Lightroom, but it will not speak to the high resolution, my raw picture at the hard disk at my other drive. That one is not connected, and this warning sign says it's not connected. So I should reconnect it, but I won't, because I want to make a new archive with new pictures. So this is my advice: don't do the archive in the program itself, but use your own archive. Please do. And I know also the reason why you would use archive of Lightroom or Adobe, but I've learned a long time ago that software is always updating. Maybe you want to change software from Lightroom to Lightroom Mobile, for example, or maybe you're switching to Bridge, and that means that the thousands of pictures that you've already archived in your Lightroom aren't usable anymore. Well, the chance is very small, and also with updates things can go wrong, which also could affect your archive directory. So my first tip for all users, and this is not common and it should be, your computer should be completely empty of pictures and videos. Those are the data that are most of all. So only use the programs itself, like your own programs like Words, Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, all the iMac programs or the Mac programs, the Adobe programs, the Adobe Suite. For this, in this example, the Lightroom and the Photoshop, or maybe even your editing software like Adobe Premiere, or even also the Apple product, the Final Cut Pro, of course. These kind of programs you want to have on your computer disk drive. Seems logical, and it is, because all the programs is mostly installed in that place. But I pray to you, please put your photos and pictures and high data stuff, your music, and even also the projects which you make in Lightroom and in Photoshop and in Final Cut Pro, put it on an external hard drive. Also your backups. Which means that you only want to have programs on your disk on your Mac or computer, and keep the other stuff on your external drive. It is a little bit too simple for words, but this is the number one reason why most people have trouble with running their programs smoothly without crashing it, for example. And there's a second rule attached to it, and that is that your hard disk on your computer, for example, you have 512 gigabytes on your computer available, or what most of us has is like hopefully 1 terabyte. You want to keep 2000 gigs, no, 20%, I mean 20% of gig of your hard disk you want to keep free. So don't fill up your hard drive with all those programs until it's 100%, because then the CPU or the processor is getting very hot. It needs breathing space, it needs room, and that same amount is for your same rule gets also through your hard disk. Pardon my English, because sometimes I'm looking for words, but it's very difficult. Well, with that said, out of the way, let me show you how you import pictures in Lightroom. So first of all, you import your pictures through most of the time via an SD card. pull it out, put it in your computer, and then copy it to your external hard drive. Keep in mind. Then you have the hard drive. You can find it, of course, in your computer. Let me show it right here. So I use the LSC, and then we'll see, maybe we have a example. Let me try this one mixed. I have some portraits over here from Nina, because I've saved this one. And here are my pictures. Here. And I keep my pictures in, let me show you, in A and B and C. This is my directory which I self-made. Where's Nina? 1 minute. Am I blind? Here. Double click her name. And now I can show you A, B and C, because all the raw files, all the material which I shot on the card are actually in folder A. So those are all my pictures. And then in B goes my Photoshop pictures, which I already edited, and then see the end result. This is mostly the time my kind of directory. So what I do is I get the last package A, this one, because in that folder is are the images, and there are quite a lot. In total, those are 267 pictures I'm going to load. So I'm not getting the pictures and putting it in Photoshop, no, and Lightroom, but I get the folder. Oh, I think I, where is it now? I get the folder from Lassie, Mixed Blood, this one. I totally lose it all the time. Where is she? Yeah, put it this way. Here. Ina. So I grab folder A, pay attention, and draw it into the Lightroom icon. I let it go, like that, and then it will load in Lightroom. I don't do anything here. As you can see, it takes all the folder names. I import them in the right corner. And here you will see it is going to import that. It takes a few minutes, so this is a perfect moment maybe to see if there are some questions on the Livebook page. Let me go to Livebook Facebook for a minute. Maybe I can even get my mobile phone to see the questions coming in. Oh no, here. I have to get used on this. Thank you, Madeliefste Oopmans, for giving me some props for the tips. So please, do you have any questions? Then I can work with that. In the meantime, the pictures are already in Lightroom. So here we are. To give you a little bit of overview, you can see on the screen right now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. So here on the left side, on the left hand, you will see your archive, which is imported directly from the hard disk into Lightroom. Now you can also see that it's picking up the directory which is on that hard drive. So now I have all the pictures here, my A roll, and this is the library where I can scroll through the pictures, and here are the settings of those pictures, my histogram, and and I can do stuff over here, and you will see on the upper side the library, bibliotheek, the developing, and ontwikkeling. So those two I only use those two tabs is the only tabs I use actually. I don't use the maps, the book, the presentations, and the printing. Most of the time you won't even need it because you only want to use it for exporting at the end. So back to library, because in library you can also flick through the pictures, and over here you see those icons here. You can also switch to get even a larger image on your second screen if you have one. I don't know if you can see that a little bit, but here's a second screen, and then you can zoom in, for example, on a second screen if you have one. But also you can use the spacebar. Then you see the picture a little bit bigger. If you hover over it, you can you can make a close-up of 100%. So, and then you can see if the picture is sharp enough. So now it's loading the pixels. It's not there yet. 1 minute. Just exploring. No problem, you can follow this one. You can have this crash course afterwards, of course. Now you can see if the picture is really sharp, and as you can see, the sharpness is not really over there. Let me brighten up this a little bit. It's at the back. So here you can check the pictures like that if you use the spacebar, you see. And if you press this one again with the little squares, then you will get the overview. Now if you use a small screen, you can also move the sides. So at the bottom of the program you will see the film strip itself, and then you can flick through the pictures with your cursors, with your or also with your mouse, of course, but I mostly use the cursors. Well, I want to use this technique in the library because I want to show you how I select pictures. Because sometimes if you shoot an event or a day of photography, you have a lot of pictures, and most of the time I shoot a lot of pictures of the same moment. So I have maybe 3 to 5 pictures of the same moment. And for example, here you see like 10 look-alike pictures, but eventually I'm looking for the one. And for almost 100 pictures, I'm looking for one good picture. But there's a selection process before that. So what I'm going to do is show you how I select and how you can do that fast. Because people have trouble selecting because they cannot choose between one or two, and I can show you also my thinking. What I do now is let me check this if this is going well. Is making this a little bit larger. Yeah, the film strip is down. Let me see if I can get it. Better for you. I need to get it here. 1 minute, I have to get you the whole screen so you can see just about everything. Like that. Yeah. Perfect. This is better. At the meantime, there's no questions for people who are tuning in. If you have questions about Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom or Adobe Photoshop, hit me in the comments and I will see them coming in right here at the right hand, as you can see a little bit. Back to the lesson. So What I'm going to do is you can also switch the sides a little bit, like I'm doing here. You're going to your mouse at the middle, and then you can make this one smaller. Just drag it down. For now, I also don't need this one, so I want to do it to the right, but there's no room anymore, so it doesn't go. I do have room the other side, you can see, but to the right it just says, well, this is the border. So, but there's here a little triangle at the right hand, and if you press this, it will collapse. So you have more room at the other side and then see more pictures. And also on this side, triangle on the left side, if I press this one, it goes away. Don't worry, it isn't away, because I press another time, then it will collapse back again. For now I don't need that one, but I do need a larger seeing. So there are miniature slides here at the right hand, top below. This one's correspondence to the pictures, and I slide it to the right, so I have a bigger screen. Well, I use the cursors to go to the right and to select some pictures. So I go here. And I also see that the whole series is a little bit dark. So what I do is go small again. Well, for example, this whole row is on the dark side a little bit. I can select them by just clicking the first one, hold shift, and then clicking number 9. And then it gets the whole row. And I can also click even further if I want, and then also it selects the row beneath that. So I'm getting my functions back, and at the right hand I can see belichting, and belichting is exposure. So the exposure is a little bit on the downside, and I can expose like a third stop. You can see exposure 1/3 of a stop, very small at the right corner, and then you can make it lighter, or a third stop darker. But this one is a whole stop, which means it will be twice as light or twice as lower light. So if I press this one, then it will become twice as light, as you can see right now at all those pictures. So that's a little lesson right there. Well, I can make this bigger again, make this one smaller, and then I size up those pictures. Still though, if you're going with your mouse over here, it will appear, and if your mouse is off it, then it will disappear. If you want to let it stay over there, you have to press the triangle, and then it will stay there, but now it's gone. So I'm going to choose with number 1 to number 5, because with the 5 on the 5 board, you will select and give it a 5 picture. If you want to see the picture bigger, just press the spacebar, and press the spacebar again to zoom in, just to see if the picture is sharp. And then you can also scroll around with your mouse to see if there's any details you want to check. I think this one is a good picture, so I can give it a 5 star. Then I go further to select them. This is a nice one, this one as well, and I press 5 to select them. This one is nice. This one is even nicer, I think, because there's also more light at the bottom of her face. Well, for example, I selected a few pictures, and normally I go through maybe a few hundred pictures and select them with all number 5. So after giving them 5 stars, you see here 5 stars at the bottom. There's also 5 stars over here, and this one says, well, this picture is selected with 5 stars, but these stars over here has to do with the selection itself, which means if I press a 1 star, then it will also show the pictures with 1 star, and that's number 1. But I didn't give a 1 star, I gave a 5 star. So what I do is select the 5 star. And if I do that, I only get to see the 5 star pictures. And then I can also work within this selection to see which is the best of those series. I can flick through, make it closer again, and I like this pose. So I can, what I can do is, or give it a 4 star. So the less stars, the better maybe. Or I can go on and give it a color. And the colors are on the side 6, 7, 8 and 9. So what I can do is, well, now I would choose a color. And I would say this picture I like the most of those 5 star pictures. And I give it the color red. And also I like this one. And I maybe like that one. And maybe this one is a one of consideration. I can give that a number 7, and then it will be yellow. So if I press now here the red square, little square over here, I only see the red pictures of my 5 star pictures. And now I have a selection made, which is always there in the library. So I press this 5 star and this one, or maybe even the yellow one. If I want to only see that one, you can see only the yellow picture. So I will stick to the red, and I would say, well, I don't know, maybe this one or this one. I want to compare them, both of them. Let's see, how can we do this? Let's see, where was that function again? I hear some never mind, if I'm still live, I'm still live. Let's see. Oh, here. No, that's not it. I have to search for that button. Raster. Yeah. Oh, here. I was pressing the wrong one. So you see here 2 monitors, 1 and number 2. You can use number 1. If you click on a even more little triangle, you can go and compare 2 pictures with each other with C. And then you can compare it, because I can zoom in, go down a little bit, and then it will show, you can compare the pictures next to each other. You can see here the X and Y pictures, because I selected the X and the Y. I mean 2 different pictures, but you can also turn that around just to see it the other way around. And then, for example, I can see, I think the right picture over here, this number 6415, and is, I think, this one. No. Zoom out a little bit. I can give that a green. So now I have a green one, because the green one is the most sharp picture. So that's the way I'm selecting a large archive of pictures into a first selection and to a second selection. And it might be possible to do even a third selection, to just look for the best of the best. And this is my fastest way to select the pictures. This is the first lesson about archiving, and because the next step after this, if you want to develop these pictures, you go from library to development. That's this one, ontwikkelen. I can press that one and I can develop the picture further on my monitor. So any questions until now? I can see now the other, if I put the other screen away. No questions. I think this is my first series of the Lightroom Adobe series, and I hope you like this live streaming of giving lessons in Lightroom or Photoshop, so you can do with more with your pictures. Please, if you also rewatch, you can leave your questions, because then I can make the next lesson after this even better for you guys. So I think this is long enough of a stream. See you next time. Thank you, my liefste. I'm so good at my English.